Hey everyone, so in today's video we are going to be covering a series of tapes called the Chimpy Chippa's tapes. The series of tapes revolves around a restaurant called Chimpy Chippa's, and one of the highlights of the establishment are the animatronic performers. And I know this may seem very FNAF-esque, however something that we haven't seen before is that every animatronic in this analog horror series is actually real. Yes, I mean every single animatronic was built specifically for this series, creating a sense of horror which we haven't seen before, because these animatronics are quite literally in the flesh on screen. Honestly, that single aspect is what makes this entire analog horror series very original and just very cool. The first tape in the series begins with a commercial for a restaurant called Chimpy Chippa's.
Do you want to know what's driving everyone bananas? Well, come on down to Chimpy Chippa's. Enjoy our wide range of milkshakes, burgers, and fries that'll have you coming back for more.
The commercial proceeds as normal, detailing all the things offered at the Chimpy Chippa's restaurant. However, after a few seconds into the commercial, the announcer stops because of how creepy the mascot of the restaurant is.
Sorry. Bloody monkey. Just, who cares? We're gonna do it again. Just give me another go. From the top.
After they decide to start taping once again, but the tape glitches and we're given a message from within the darkness.
I'm so hungry, trapped here for so long, starving. I see you watching this. I'm hungry.
Then immediately switching back to the original commercial. But the announcer stops once again and says this.
Because Chippa, the chimp, is waiting for you. Look, I know you guys spent time on making this monkey thing, but has no one realised how creepy it looks? Or is it just me? Because I can tell you right now, I'd never take my daughter to...
The chimp opens its eyes wider, and it becomes evident that this being is alive. The person watching the tape on their computer closes the video player, but when they do, eyes of the chimp remain on screen. As stated before, the chimp can see the person watching the tapes. And watching this tape has given the chimp an outlet to escape. And in the description of the video, we are given a little bit more of information. A creepy vintage commercial for an old restaurant, Chimpy Chippa's, was banned from airing on television due to its disturbing visuals, scaring children. The animatronic puppet Chimpy Chippa was scrapped and placed into storage. All copies of this commercial were destroyed in the 80s. However, the video anonymously surfaced on the internet many years later. And if we look at the date and time of the person's computer that is viewing this tape, the date is labeled June 6th, 2020. The tape is dated at October 11th, 1984. The tape boots up and states that it is confidential surveillance footage from a warehouse. The time of recording is at 7:37 p.m. Attempted theft at Will Bill's warehouse on October 11th, 1984. And then it goes on to say that the alleged perpetrator, the person that was trying to break into the warehouse, did go missing between 7:37 and 6 seconds to 7:37 and 30 seconds, meaning that it took within 24 seconds for the perpetrator to go missing, which on its own is very strange because 24 seconds isn't a lot of time to go completely missing. The following footage contains evidence which supports the perpetrator's disappearance, and what plays before us is footage of the Chimpy Chippa's animatronic hidden away in the darkness. However, the person that broke into the building makes a fatal mistake and breaks and shatters some glass, which then alerts the alarm system. Chimpy Chippa devours the person in less than a second, leaving the person's soul trapped within the Chimpy Chippa animatronic, along with every other soul that this sinister animatronic has consumed in the past. The description of the tape reads as follows. Police received a disturbing 911 call from Chimpy Chippa's on 7th January 1984. A scary incident inside the restaurant would lead to a tragedy that would change the company forever. On October 11th, 1984, police received a 911 call following the break-in at Will Bill's warehouse. The chimp, in fact, is alive and extremely dangerous. The next installment begins with a 911 call received on January 7th, 1984. Location, Chimpy Chippa's. And because this video is dated back in January, this does place the video before episode 2 chronologically, meaning that this video does happen before Chimpy devours the person that was breaking into the warehouse. The caller states that there's a woman inside the Chimpy Chippa's restaurant and that she has a firearm.
What's your message?
There's a woman inside. She's got a gun.
Hey, man, where are you?
Chimpy Chippa's outside.
Has anyone been hurt?
No one's been hurt yet.
And then the 911 operator proceeds to ask for more information from the caller.
Shouting stuff out.
What kind of things, man?
Cursing things against God. I don't know. Something about taking away her God-given gift. Sorry, she's pointing a gun at everyone.
The caller states that the woman is shouting from inside of the restaurant, saying things like cursing against God and saying something about taking away her God-given gift. And then the caller says that they're also in the restaurant and they are hiding behind the counter while they are making this call. Furthermore, stating that the woman is pointing a firearm at everyone in the building. Essentially, the person is holding 25 to 30 people hostage inside of the restaurant, and half of them are children. Truly a bitter situation that could end in a massacre if the right cards aren't played.
Please, you've got to hurry. I have a daughter. She's only a baby.
We're doing everything we can, man. Stay calm. What's your name, man?
Rose, I'm the duty manager here.
The caller's name is Rose, a duty manager at Chimpy Chippa's, and Rose also has her infant daughter with her at the moment of the woman holding everybody hostage.
Something wrong with her eyes. They're bright green, glowing. Stop pointing the gun at everyone.
Rose proceeds to say that the woman with the firearms' eyes are bright, glowing green. But before Rose can provide any more information, the woman with the firearm pulls the weapon into her mouth and pulls the trigger.
They're bright green, glowing. Stop pointing the gun at everyone.
I promise help is on the way, man. Please stay put. Stay with me on the line.
She's putting the gun at her now. Oh my God.
The door opens in the distance, appearing to be an ultrasound of a child. And then we are shown text from the woman who just passed away. I didn't mean it. I had no control. It wants your space, but it can only live where there's negative energy. Don't let it take anyone else. The more death it brings, the more others like it can come. And then we are shown news articles of the following news reporting after the incident. Chimpy Chippa's closes after the tragic incident. Woman who took her life revealed to be pregnant. Creepy commercial banned. Chimpy Chippa struggles to reopen after flawed mascot design scares younger viewers. The tape cuts and we're brought back to the night of October 11th, 1984. The night Chimpy would devour the person who broke into the warehouse. The 911 operator answers the phone.
What's that? Just the emergency.
Hungry. Hungry. Hungry.
Ju-
Hungry. Hungry.
ju-
But all they can hear is Chimpy repeating the words, hungry. A police officer was subsequently sent to investigate the very creepy 911 call. The police officer arrives at the location and Chimpy stands idly in the darkness. Until... And the next episode picks up right where we left off. The series transitions into live action, and the police officer investigates the now damaged Chimpy, a bullet right in its eye socket. But then it cuts to the animatronic thrown away, lost in a landfill, surrounded by endless tons of garbage. A news reporting cuts in, stating the following.
Warehouse. At approximately 7:40 p.m., a police officer was sent to investigate the warehouse in reference to a suspicious 911 call received. A male body was found shortly after arriving at the scene. The body was later identified as 31-year-old Sylvester Rigby. Sylvester was the husband of Miranda Rigby, the woman who held 29 people captive inside Chimpy Chippa's restaurant in January before she proceeded to shoot herself. The Chimpy Chippa animatronic was also present at the warehouse and reportedly attacked police officer Sean Yates. The officer claimed he returned fire and disabled the animatronic, which has since been sent to landfill. Detectives attempted to review CCTV footage. However, all footage had been corrupted.
A male body was found, 31-year-old Sylvester Rigby, the husband of Miranda Rigby. And Miranda Rigby is the same person who held all those people captive 9 months back and then ended up, ending their life. Sean Yates, the person that responded to the creepy 911 call of the animatronic saying hungry repeatedly over and over, was able to disable the animatronic, and then they threw it away in a landfill. Upon trying to view the CCTV footage to see the animatronic attack, all of the footage had been corrupted and unable to view for some odd reason. And then the news broadcast is interrupted by an unknown cause. What appears on screen now is Chimpy. The cries of children fill the background, and Chimpy stares at the camera and says one thing.
So many watching, so very hungry.
The news broadcast is able to get back on air, kicking off whatever was interrupting the original broadcast, and then it goes on to say that the restaurant had plans to air a sitcom in March, around 3 months after the restaurant shut down. And again, remembering that the restaurant shut down because of what happened with Miranda. She held all these people at gunpoint and then ended their life, so that's definitely cause to shut down the entire restaurant. And the sitcom that the restaurant had planned was supposed to be about Chimpy Chippa. The show was supposed to be called Monkey Business, but was cancelled because the footage kept getting corrupted for some reason.
In a press release today, Chimpy Chippa's has officially announced its permanent closure.
What plays before us is the intro to the sitcom called Monkey Business, the sitcom that was cancelled because of the inexplicable corruption of footage. And what plays before us is footage from that original sitcom. It's pretty classic sitcom stuff, which is completely focused on the advertisement of the website, detailing the different kinds of burgers and their prices.
Can you believe that? $2.30 for a cheapy cheeseburger.
Actually, I can, because that's what happens when you learn to read.
But essentially the entire sitcom is filled with, classic sitcom tropes with the laugh track, the very funny but also weird writing. But after one of the characters has spent 30 minutes trying to decide what they will get at Chimpy Chippa's, they tell the waiter if they can have 5 more minutes. And then that's when the person sitting across from them says this.
Can I have...
Yes?
$5 more minutes?
Oh my now.
And for a single frame, we can see this. Please help. It's Miranda. And this is a reference to Miranda, the woman who ended her life after holding all of those people hostage. And they are also the spouse of Sylvester Rigby, who would later be consumed by the Chimpy Chippa animatronic several months later in that warehouse. And after this, the sitcom does continue, but there is no longer a laugh track. The character on the left stays in character, but the character on the right is in some sort of trance.
What in the chimpy freaking cheeseburgers was that? You heard that, right, Beck?
Green, glowing eyes. The same thing that happened to Miranda.
Something wrong with her eyes. They're bright green, glowing.
And then knocking the character across from them out, and then after staring lifelessly at the camera.
We are many now. Our hunger is never satisfied. Give yourself to us. This is our space.
The sitcom ends there, and now it becomes apparent that the Chimpy Chippa animatronic does have a way of corrupting media, and also has the power to possess the body of others. And we can assume that that is why the pregnant woman Miranda took an entire group of 30 people hostage, subsequently ending their life immediately after. New Year's Eve, 1984. And to quickly reestablish the timeline right now to avoid confusion, the restaurant was closed back in 1984, Miranda holding all of those people hostage and then ending their life. As reported by the person who called the police, whose name is Rose,
What's your name, man? Rose, I'm the duty manager here.
and they also have a child.
You should go to hurry. I have a daughter. She's only a baby.
A few months later, in March, the restaurant tried to make a comeback with a sitcom, but that ended in immediate failure. Then, in October of that same year, the husband of Miranda, Sylvester, breaks into a warehouse where they have the Chimpy animatronic, but is sadly eaten by it. A police arrives, shooting the Chimpy animatronic, and then dumping it in a landfill. This officially causes the complete shutdown of Chimpy Chippas. Now it's New Year's Eve on this already insane year. The Chimpy Chippa restaurant is in flames. The following recording was recovered from the aftermath of the fire. Viewer discretion is advised. A person screams as they attempt an exorcism to rid themselves of the demon that has latched onto them. And this person is Rose, the same person that called 911 when Miranda had gone insane. Rose goes on to say the following. It's so strong now. This was the only way to protect my daughter. Remember me, Rose. And then the demon leaves their body. Chimpy lies dormant in the landfill, but makes their way to the restaurant. The demons fly back to Chimpy, having left the bodies of those it possessed. The final episode of the series begins by showing us Miranda's personal journal, the person who took these hostages a few episodes back. In the journal, we can see exactly what they wrote. There is so much death in this world. When the baby grows, so will I, strong enough to control this body and kill it to release myself. and feast with the others. Then, cutting back to the night of the fire, we are introduced to a character named Brady Whitlock, who is recording the fire from just outside, a little too close if I might add. Brady makes their way back home, but is followed. Police received a call reporting a domestic disturbance. Police officer Sean Yates was dispatched to the scene. And Officer Sean Yates is the same person who shot Chimpy back in those couple episodes. So if there's anyone that can take down Chimpy, I would assume that it's them. Brady hides from the animatronic as Officer Yates makes their way inside of the home, looking for Chimpy.
Police department, anybody home?
But before Chimpy can attack, a green spirit makes their way inside of the animatronic, and we hear this.
This space, this world is not yours.
We take what we want.
All I want is a world safer for my daughter, protected from false spirits.
She is nothing to us, as was Miranda and Sylvester before you. You cannot hurt us.
You are pests. Only through visual contact can you survive. And I take it away, trapped in this vessel with me, forever.
The spirit of Rose is inside of the demon's vessel that is Chimpy. So it's here where we discover that Chimpy is an evil spirit that has been trying to take control of as many vessels as possible, while Rose was able to free her own spirit from her body to put an end to this evil entity once and for all. Rose sacrificed her own life to stop the evil entity that lie inside of Chimpy, trapping the both of them inside of this vessel for all of eternity. The Chimpy animatronic shuts down for good. And then we are given a final police interview with Brady about their experience facing the animatronic.
I've been following the whole Chimpy Chippa's thing since the January shooting. Everyone had their own theories about it. I live close to the restaurant, so when I saw it in flames, I had to get it on tape.
You mentioned seeing a green glow?
I had no idea what the hell it was.
And you said it left the fire as you were recording?
Yeah. But it came back and sort of just destroyed the animatronic.
Forensics confirmed the internal circuits were fried. There's no way it can properly function again.
It's been fully destroyed though? Like, the whole thing?
Not yet. It's been taken in to be studied. Given everything that's happened, we need to be prepared if anything like this happens again. I'm not a superstitious man, but whatever we're dealing with is way beyond human. And I've got a feeling this isn't the end.
And what follows is someone in 2020 downloading the Chimpy Chippa's original commercial. And from what we were told from Miranda, the only way for Chimpy to possess an individual is by looking at them directly in their eyes. It doesn't matter if it's through a screen or in person, as long as you look Chimpy directly in the eyes, it's over. And this person is about to bring Chimpy's spirit back to life by watching this tape. We haven't seen the last of Chimpy Chippa. And yeah, that was Chimpy Chippa's. I hope you enjoyed it because I seriously did. I didn't expect the quality of this series to be that good. I mean, I was actually very pleasantly surprised. But yeah, my name is Waman. Don't forget to subscribe. We cover all sorts of horror content on this channel, so yeah, it'd be great to have you. Also, huge shout out to all my beautiful Patreons: Anna, Peachy Lee, Kubri, Tensity, Harlow, Estenia, Bleh, and 10 Tiny Bees. Thank you guys so much. You're awesome. And yeah, that's everything. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. It was great. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.